Verstappen just denied Williams' George Russell an incredible pole position. A dramatic rain hit Belgian Grand Prix qualifying session, which saw early pacer Lando Norris crash out heavily. Lewis Hamilton, the championship leader, will start third from Russell, strongly tipped to join his countrymen at Mercedes next year. Astonishingly finished second between the two big title rivals. Russell's Williams team are 8th out of 10 in the Constructors' Championship, and last came to front row, also in the wet at Monza in 2017. Norris had himself been threatening for a run at his first career pole, topping Q1 and Q2, but crashed heavily in an increasing rain at the start of the pole shootout at Eau Rouge corner, with his McLaren getting away from him in the middle of an upright right-hander at Eau Rouge. Norris spun into a big impact with the outside barrier before the car cut across the circuit. Norris was able to get out of the crash car unaided and told the team on the radio that he was okay. He was taken to the circuit's medical centre for mandatory checkups and has now gone to hospital for a precautionary x-ray on his elbow, but it has since been confirmed that he can race tomorrow, which is obviously great news. But yeah, he will have to take a 5-place grid penalty, so we'll end up starting 14th. But the main thing is he's okay and can race. After a lengthy delay to the session, a Q3 shootout resumed in slightly improved conditions, with Hamilton setting the initial pace before Russell threatened to pull off the biggest qualifying shock for years by 8-pacing the world champion on his final lap. But Verstappen was going fractionally faster behind and put Russell to an astonishing P1 by 0.3. I thought we would have done a good job to get out of Q1 yesterday, and now we're standing on the front row, said Russell, barely believing it. With Hamilton shuffled back to third, McLaren's Daniel Ricciardo took a season best 4th ahead of Aston Martin's Sebastian Vettel in 5th and Pierre Gasly in 6th. Valtteri Bottas was 88th in the Mercedes, and that will become an even more problematic 12th following Lando Norris' 5-place penalty for Sunday's race, owing to the Finns' 5-place grid penalty for causing the first corner carnage in Hungary. In a sport where relative car performance is so often a determinating factor for a driver, wet weather can act as a relative leveller, and that was certainly the case for Russell on Saturday. The 23-year-old had already established himself as one of the grid's best qualifiers, but it was only recently at the Australian and British Grand Prix in July that he was able to make Q3 in a Williams for the first time. He made it a hat-trick at Spa, and what was 8th on intermediate tyres in Q2 suddenly transformed into a run at pole where the drivers really mattered in Q3. The car was feeling great and I was confident, said Russell. I was in a fortunate position where I had nothing to lose in Q3, absolutely buzzing. On a fresh set of his final attempts, Russell dismantled Hamilton's initial provisional pole lap in the first sector alone, and although his 7-time countryman also hit an improved map, he was still slower by 0.013. Verstappen ultimately was quicker than both, but Russell's front row was by then guaranteed. Tomorrow's the important one, he noted. If the lead is there, I'll be taking it, he said. And before I go, let's run through the grid. Verstappen on pole, yeah, obviously did a really solid job. Crazy conditions, so always gets tough to get the pole, but Russell in second, yeah, just an absolutely incredible job. If Toto Wolff wasn't watching before, he certainly is now. I think we've spoken enough about him. Hamilton in third, I think he'll be disappointed, but yeah, it was a bit of a messy session for Mercedes. The win's still there. Ricciardo in 4th, Vettel 5th, Gasly in 6th. I think they'll all be happy with that, especially with Ricciardo, so huge for him. Perez in 7th, it's not quite where he wanted to be, but you know, still comfortably ahead of Bottas. That's kind of his battle. Ocon in 8th. All I'll say is he was in 8th for the Hungarian Grand Prix with a wet start expected. So yeah, just watch out for that. Norris demoted down to 14th. Yeah, obviously after topping those practice sessions, he'll be so disappointed. You could say it wasn't really his fault. But yeah, just absolutely gutted for him. I think he'll be annoyed with himself because, to be honest, he did make a mistake there. Leclerc in 10th, Sainz in 12th. Maybe Ferrari were hoping for a bit more. Yeah, I don't know. Just seemed a bit disappointing for them. Latifi in 10th, obviously seeing his teammate in 2nd is a big blow, but him being so far up there is solid for him. Bottas in 13th, once again in the wet weather he struggled, and with a wet race expected tomorrow, it certainly will be tough for him. And Alonso in 14th, he just had nowhere near the pace of Ocon today, which is slightly disappointing. Yeah, he just wasn't quite on it today. The Alfa Romeos and the Haas's, I think, will be disappointed not to make up any ground when you see what the Williams could do. Was a good opportunity to get them up the grid, and then obviously got Stroll, which is hugely disappointing for him in wet weather conditions. He's normally so good in them, but just couldn't quite deliver today. And Tsunoda in 16th. Yeah, disappointing for him, failing to make a mark when he really could have done today. Hey guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, let me know your thoughts, comments down below, and follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily F1 news, and subscribe to my channel, scrolling around now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace!